So here I am at this auction. This is a little D14 parts tractor for sale, but it does have pretty decent tires on them. These 13.6 by 26 inch tires are very expensive, and these are not. I mean, they're weather checked and things like that, but they are on good rims, and these rims are also very expensive. They're not rotted out, a little bit around the valve stem, but not too bad. So we've got that. The engine is locked up. You can see the valve covers off of it, but yeah, so that's locked up. Has a carb on it, but I'm sure it's in rough shape. It's open. Here is the other side. I mean, it's been sitting a long time, but you can see the same thing on this side. This other rim is in decent shape. A little bit of rust down there, but otherwise it's banged up a little bit. Looks like that was just recent as they were moving it. You can see the mark on the tire here lines up with that dent on that rim, but the rim is dented elsewhere. Right here it's got a pretty big dent in it here, but it is holding air, so it's definitely salvageable. So this is a pretty good candidate for us. Looking here at the back side too, it has a drawbar on it, which is huge because the parts track or the project tractor we have at home, it is missing all of the drawbar. So this is another win. So basically, if we could get this for a good price, tires, drawbar, and 2 rear rims, I mean, these tires new are probably worth, they're probably $700 a piece new right now, as we've been pricing them out for 26 inch tires. And those rims, these 26 inch Allis Chalmers spin out rims, are probably another $700 per side by the time you buy the wheel center, these cam locks, and the rim itself. So there's a lot of good money tied up, or there's a lot of good money potential here in the back. So if we could get this for even a couple $100, it'd be a good money spent, I think. Anyway, we'll see what we can do with the auction tomorrow. Stuff that we're not really interested in, but that's kind of interesting. Here's an old International, no, Ferguson. Looks like, is this a diesel? Looks like it, maybe. Yep. Diesel, full 4-cylinder. I don't know anything about this tractor, but probably from the 60s, I'd guess. An old Moline here. These are all parts tractors out here. This is a Farmall H, maybe. There's a Case SC. Look at the hitch on this. I'm just not an International person, so I don't know anything about this stuff. So here's this. That tire looks fairly new. Oh, yeah, it's fairly new. The rim's rotted out, and you can see down there the tire's shot too. So that's kind of a waste. Here's this Case SC, I think. Another Moline over there, missing a chunk of engine. So, all parts tractors, and then here's another Moline here. There's the head, I guess. I'm not a Minneapolis Moline guy either, so I don't know anything about these. So, here's parts tractors. Let me show you what else we have. So here's a Moline as well. I don't know which model this is. Like I say, I'm not a Minneapolis Moline guy, but this engine, I found a crank sitting in the back of it. You put this in here, turn it, oh, let me push it in, turn it in. You can see it turns over, has compression, so I don't know what this will go for, but probably not a ton. I would guess probably under 500 bucks. And I have no idea what it's worth. It's missing a couple parts that I can tell. But pretty cool old tractor. Here's another Minneapolis Moline. This one is inside of a big barrel, so it's protected from the elements, and it appears to be pretty complete. Let's see if this one is. We'll push this in. Oh, there it almost got. There it goes. Oh, come on. It's hard to do one-handed. Just a second. Okay, I've got this crank loaded here in the front, and it turns over if you look down here. So yeah, this one also would probably run. It appears to be pretty complete. Looks like it's been switched over to 12 volts at one point, but yeah, pretty nice tractor. A little bit of, looks like some homemade stuff here on the back with the hitch, but pretty solid. It'd be really fun to buy one of these Minneapolis Moline tractors. He's got a couple others. I'll show them to you that are they're in better shape. They're restored, but that's cool. We'll see what this one goes for. This is what I think is cool. This is a John Deere 101 type plow. So it's very similar to my 202 plow, mechanical lift, except for it's just one bottom, two big 16-inch moldboards. Missing a tire. It's got a coulter on it, but I do not think that is correct. Depth control wheels. Thing that's rough here is it's missing a hitch. So I don't have a hitch, and on this it would be hard to find a replacement hitch. You'd probably have to make something yourself. And these are 21-inch tires, 5x21s, and I bet that they are not cheap. But mechanical lift levers are right here. This is broken, but we've got a couple of spare things we could make a replacement for this. I'd be tempted to buy this because I bet that it probably goes for less than 50 bucks. And it's probably not. I mean, I might be wasting 50 bucks even, but that's pretty cool. I'm a sucker for a John Deere two-way plow, these grasshopper style plows. Then cultivators, and this looks like an Allis Chalmers WD 45. It's complete. Has decent tires on it. These are 28-inch rims, 28-inch tires. Seems to be leaking a little bit of oil, but it's pretty complete. And the sheet metal on it is actually really pretty nice. Next to it is a 620. This would be really nice. I'm assuming this will go for quite a bit. I noticed looking at it earlier, it looks like it has a cracked manifold right there. Has really nice tires on it. And it does not go into all the gears. Oh, it goes up into reverse. But I checked the clutch. It does snap in and out pretty nice. I'll show you that. So here, it's hard to do one-handed, but I just snap the clutch. Come on, spin. And it spins freely there. And it snaps into place pretty nicely. Brake pedals aren't worn very much at all. I mean, if you compare that to my Model A basically all of that tread is all worn off of my Model A. Anyway, it's pretty nice. So you can see that manifold on this side, it's cracked pretty badly all up through there. Has that duplex carb on it. So doesn't appear to have any brakes or welds on the front. See, someone's really been pounding on it at some point to move the tires in and out. Is that bent? No, that's just clearance for fatter tires. And it has pretty nice 3-point on it. It's missing the third link, but everything else is there. I like that it has a float ride type suspension seat on it. So, pretty nice. Next door we've got a case, probably like a 530 4-cylinder diesel engine on it. I think these are pretty cool tractors. I really don't know what this one is. You have to correct me if I'm wrong. But it's pretty nice. Oh look, here, right here. 630. Case 630. These cool rims on the back, some weights. Has an eagle hitch. I would assume that this runs. It's pretty cool. Here's a 520. Judging by how it is set up, I would assume that this thing pulls pretty well. Looking at all the weight that's on the front. That's a lot of weight for such a little tractor. Huh. That's pretty nice. Little carburetors. Everything's clean here. I would assume this starts right up. Oh yeah. Looks like it's leaking a little bit of fluid out of the back end someplace, but look at the drawbar on that. I mean, for such a little tractor, it's pulled quite a bit. It's pretty nice. And this is what's really pretty. Look at this. Propane powered and block heater, I think. Really, really nice. I would assume that this starts right up as well, based on the fact that it's inside. And it is so clean and so nice. Yeah. Over here, this is really cool. Looks very similar to the one that we saw outside. Maybe a little bit newer. I would guess newer, but yeah, this is probably newer. It has like a more modern style dash and steering wheel. Really cool old Minneapolis Moline. What is this? A Z? Comment below and tell me what this is. Here's the back end. I don't know when Minneapolis Moline started putting 3-point hitches on their tractors, but I would assume that this starts right up. Let's see if it turns over. Oh, I gotta hold the fan belt. Hold on a second. Okay, yeah, it does turn over if I pull on the belt here with one hand and I spin the fan with the other hand. I can see the crank down there turning. So, yeah, it spins freely and I'm sure it runs good. And then there's this monster, this G1000. Whoa. Big 6-cylinder diesel on this. This would be a beast to drive. Man. And I'm betting this cab, if you had windows and doors installed on this would just vibrate and be so loud. And I don't think that it would be cool in the summer. But in the winter, it would probably help you stay warm. Look at this big old 6-cylinder diesel. And I love how there's 3 banks of 2 cylinders. So you have 3 different heads on this. It's cool. And again, I would assume this starts right up. But we'll see how much this goes for. Here's an older restoration, it looks like. A little Minneapolis Moline R. This looks just like the one that we saw out there earlier, that parts one. Oh, there's that weird head. It's like off to the side. That's cool. Now this one does have some sort of lift on it. Oh, look at that. It runs off of a rocker arm up there. Extends all the way back. And here's your 3-point hitch. Huh. Oh, and look, there's the hydraulic cylinder running this rocker arm. Here is a Minneapolis Moline Z. This looks very similar to the one that we saw out there as well, too. A little bit older than that one that we saw over there just a minute ago. Here's a hand clutch. And then here is another Z. Looks to be the same as this one. This one's still just in its work clothes. It looks like it's leaking a little bit of oil. That's another thing that I like. A guy in our club has one of these, and how the seat swings over to the side so that then you don't have to, you can just kind of casually sit kind of at a 45-degree angle to the tractor and then just really easily just kind of peer over your shoulder. You don't have to turn all the way around and break your neck. Look at that. A little bit of a pedal extension. Appears to be homemade. Hand brake, or excuse me, hand clutch again. Right here. This is cool. Man, I would be tempted if one of these tractors inside goes for 500 or less. It would be fun to buy one and just play around with it and learn a little bit. That's cool. And then an old manure spreader, fixed up pretty nicely. It doesn't appear to have hauled any manure since its restoration, but it's all here, these beaters in the back. That's cool. Here's a little Allis Chalmers CA. I don't know if this one's for sale. Might be. Yeah, it's got a tag on it. And then a bigger WD-45. Man, these WD-45s, sometimes they look really small, and then other times, like now, this looks like a pretty big tractor. I don't know if it's just due to the fact that he's got big old tires on the back or what, but this would probably be a strong pulling tractor. That's cool. Well, we'll see what we can buy and what we can win. That's cool. Well, I want to report on what happened with the auction. So, everything went for a lot more than what I was anticipating. And I also bid on a couple more things than I even thought I was going to bid on. But first off was that Minneapolis Moline ZB tractor. After I went and looked at those, I came home and I watched some videos on them, and I also did a little bit of reading on them, and I decided that I really wanted to buy that ZB, that model ZB tractor. And man, I thought that I was going to have it. It came down to the very end, and I had gone up to as much as I wanted to do. My max bid was going to be about $800, and I'm well aware that that tractor's probably worth more than $800, but I was like, to me, that's what I was willing to pay for it. And I don't need another project. I've got plenty of projects, but I thought it was really cool, and so that's why I wanted it. And I went back actually the next day, the day of the auction, but before the auction started, when they still had some open hours, and I went and I looked, and the radiator was bone dry, and it was also really clogged, and so I was a little bit apprehensive about that because I didn't know, if there had been coolant in it, it would have been really nice. But anyway, so that, knowing that the radiator and possibly the block and everything was questionable, or at least it gave me a doubt in my mind. I was like, I went up above. I went to $900, and that was my max bid, $900, and someone else wanted it more, so they took it. I think it was just me and another guy bidding at the end, but anyway, even that Allis Chalmers that I thought for sure we were gonna get, I thought no one's gonna want this. We went up above. My dad put in bids on that one up above $700, and it was still going up, and so we bailed on that one too. We actually have a lead on another set of rear spin out rims. That's the main thing we wanted. Anyway, those tires would have been nice, but they were pretty weather checked, and so anyway, so that's the other thing that we were really going for. Even that plow, that 101 John Deere plow, that thing went for over a couple $100, and I was just blown away by how much everything went. I was hoping those parts tractors that they would go for, below $500, but each one of them went for about $500. The tractors that were in decent shape, all of those went for, up over $1,500. So I don't know. It's just, I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get anything. But it was one of those things where we didn't need it, and we didn't want to pay, go up that high for that stuff. So a little bit disappointing, but I still thought the stuff was pretty cool, and I still think about that, now there's a soft spot in my heart for one of those Minneapolis Molines, and I think it would be cool to have one day, but not now. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you found it interesting, and watch for the next video. Thanks. Bye.